We confirm to go live. Okay. I think it's happening. Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Charity Tuesday. Woo! Best day of the month. We are already 11% to our goal of $1,000 to be raised for the International Rescue Committee, a fantastic organization that is on the ground in North Africa, where Morocco, Marrakesh area experienced a horrible earthquake that has killed thousands and made 300,000 people homeless. And then a few days later, there was flash flooding in Libya where a dam burst and killed upwards of 10,000 people. Lots of destruction, lots of lives hang in the balance. They need shelter. They need food. They need rescue efforts still. People in small villages are still like cut off from civilization up in the Atlas Mountains. So we are raising money to help those folks who need it the most. And hopefully we can make ourselves have yet another successful Charity Tuesday. Now, last month we did money raised for Maui after their devastating fires. We raised about $2,500. So I know you guys have it in you. And I don't know if you watched the PP show yesterday. $27,000 were sent in super chats to PP. Now, I would love to do a Charity Tuesday where we can get that kind of support. It'd be fantastic. I would absolutely love it. It's already pouring in here. So what we have right now is I think 27 Blue Sky codes that we can raffle off. Now, some of you who have donated already have Blue Sky. Like, you're in there. So throw in the chat if you want like your particular donations to go to someone. Last time, all the anonymous ones went to Rosa. Rosa won. She now has a Blue Sky account that she has not used at all. But she has it because she's like, well, it does seem like Twitter's going down hard fast. So I'm going to do the recordings of everything. There's my cat pen. There we go. Got Squamp's kitty pen there. So I already got Leo B through one of the anonymouses here. So Leo B, thank you. Artemis, thank you. Ludicrous Speed, thank you. Julius Miami, thank you. And I got a couple of anons. Did I miss anybody? Leo B, Artemis, Ludicrous Speed, Julio, Anonymous. Okay, that's Jeff Chrisman. Thank you, Jeff. There we go. Chrisman. Dang, bud. Thank you. Justin G. Michael Harrow. Giga Shukla's in here. And Javier Martinez so far. All right. I know I've gotten some of you codes. So, yes. Jeff Crispin, I have Blue Sky on my invite. Would you like it? Yeah, send it my way. DM it to me on Reddit. u/HoustMan. And we will get it. So yeah, if you don't need your code, you can donate your pick somebody in the chat and donate your entries for the raffle to someone. So Jigish, yeah, if you don't need it, you can donate to somebody there who may want it. So like someone scream out like, I want one. We can donate their entries to you. How about that? That seems like we'll get the whole family onto Blue Sky here at some point. Because like last week we had, was it 10 entries? Or last month we had 10 entries. Now we've got 28 once I get Jeff Chrisman's. So we'll be able to get you all in here very soon. Okay. So we're up to $320. 32% of the way to our goal to raise a bunch of money for folks in desperate need in Morocco. We haven't even done the meat of the show. We're 5 minutes in. Way to go, monkey. Good job. You'd make a good rescue dog. You got a good nose on you. And you see everything. Usually it's through the side of your eye, but you see everything. Okay. Scott Palms, Blue Sky cool or nah? Blue Sky is where all the shit posters are going. So if you want to see funny people, they're all over Blue Sky. So that's where you want to go. All right. John Castro wants one, please and thank you. Okay. Who wants to donate theirs to John Castro? Get him, Jiggish. Snurtlert wants one. How about, okay, I'll make, was another anonymous. And the anonymous, man, who can we get for anonymous? All right, James Perigo. Boom. I do have the Cameron Diaz hairstyle going. I got a little wet head. Came out of the shower. Did the show. And then Cameron Mirza. Man, you guys are going fast here. Cameron Mirza. Except I cannot spell to save my life, even though it's only 5 letters. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll get there, and we'll figure out something. Maybe I'll do a raffle of who gets all the anonymous ones. I don't know. Okay, so what are we talking about? The PP show had a cajillion people watching yesterday because Bill Pulte was there. It was a very uneventful show. In my opinion, it looked like everybody's waiting for dockets to drop, and then they didn't. The only docket we had in the last 24 hours was about like abandoned property at one of the stores. Who gives a shit? So we still have a few days until maybe something spicy happens with BBYQ. We're sitting around waiting. That's thumb twiddling. Oh, I forgot, because I don't know if I have any like Morocco or Libya specific shirts. So I went with a North African neighbor. I've got camels and pyramids. That's as close as I can get. I mean, I probably could have done a Spanish shirt because it's right across the strait from Morocco. Oh well, this is more in the keeping of the culture. Yes. Oh, Aaron's here. Goodness gracious. Hey, Aaron. Kaylee Kennedy. K. Oh, and I cannot spell. Kaylee Kennedy. And Salient Sapien. I'm just going to spend the entire show just saying people's names. Salient Sapien. And Chris Taylor is in here. Thank you, buddy. John Castro. Boom. Okay. What else, Monkey? What's happening? We have... someone sent me a note about private equity is in massive debt. The only times this has really happened is right before a recession. So basically, private equity is trying to make plays. They consume these companies, they buy them out, they do leverage buyouts and everything. But right now, they're borrowing money at like crazy rates, like 19% to take over companies, which is not sustainable. Like, you're not going to get 19% growth out of a company you just bought. It's not going to happen, especially when everything else is kind of stagnating, which is they're loan sharking themselves right now. So it's a bad sign for things to come. You cannot borrow at rates higher than you can earn, especially if you're at private equity and you're like getting companies specifically to destroy them, a la Tupperware, a la Pyrex, etc. So, right, Doug? Yeah, you and your Kubrick stare there. Okay, so before I get too lost, I'm going to do this. Such a sweet dog. Look at that face. Oh, it feels so good, doesn't it? Okay. Off. This might be the first Charity Tuesday in a while. I remember to turn everything off. Take note, people. It's reported that there are 3 billion empty housing units in China and only 1.4 billion people. So anyone who had hopes of the recovery of Chinese real estate is sorely mistaken. Their population peaked May of last year and is now in a steady rate of decline. And over the next 30 years, it will likely decline to about 600 million people. So they're going to have 5 times as much housing as human beings over the next 30 years. That's going to make for some just really cool sci-fi movies being filmed in ghost towns in China, I think. You can get like weird-ass warlords lording over empty skyscraper downtowns, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So, yeah. Oh, I got to keep up. Brian Adkins, thank you. Boop. Laji Molala. La Ji Mo La La. Thank you. Look at that. We're almost halfway there. We're $457 there. And we're 12 minutes in. We're rescuing people all over Africa with this one. Oh, I hear the kitten. Is the kitten gonna make an appearance? I heard the jingles. Let me get distracted. Okay. So okay, let's yeah, so the PP show yesterday, nothing exciting happened. They did do several things, like, you know, at 1:47 into the show, Pulte brought out ice cream, and they had a dancing bear in the background. At the end of the show, exactly at 7:14, because I went the 1s and 4s and 7s, so the weird numerological stuff that conspiracy-minded GME people pay attention to. Oh, there's the fat cat. Hey, buddy. And I think everybody there was expecting a docket to drop, and they're like, "Woo! This docket's happening," and nothing happened. It got me thinking about, you know, potential players involved and what they can and can't say, right? So if Ryan Cohen has nothing to do with any of this, like he's not a creditor, he's not an equity holder, he isn't trying to buy companies, he's not trying to do anything, he could legally just say, like, I'm not part of that, right? And it'll be over. That's it. But he's not saying that. He's not saying anything. He's being coy, right? When asked directly, no response of any kind. You know, you see tweets from him that can be interpreted by the crowd as like, secret message. Now, would someone who's living up to like legend status, right, want to disappoint millions of people who look up to him? When he could just say, like, hey, I'm not part of this thing. I have nothing to do with Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm not a part of this. Leave me out of it. He could say that, and then it would show that he has nothing to do with it. So if he's being coy and not saying word, and he has nothing to do with it, people are going to hate his fucking guts, right? I don't really think that's where he wants to go with it. Again, this is all gut, you know, in here where the pyramids are. Do you want to destroy all the goodwill? I don't think you do. I still think something weird's going to happen. I cannot guarantee something weird's going to happen, but I think something weird's going to happen this week. And we're just hanging on, waiting to see what it is. Now, oh, that kitten is, I'm sorry, the cat's doing things and it's adorable. And I'm just going to stare off into space. I wish I could like put a camera on the door so when the kitten walks by, we can get alert that the kitten's walking by. Okay. KYP's here. That puts us over 50% right there. Boom. Look at you guys. And we have 146 of you in here. The rest of you have not donated yet. All donated, what, $5? Would that be right? 75, 5. Yeah, about $5. We would get over the hump, and we would fully fund this fundraiser today. And it would be our 28th successful fundraiser. I really need to write this down. I need to make like a chart on the wall of what fundraisers we have done and how much money we've raised for each one so that I can keep track of these things. Okay. Anyway, Coffee Donuts and Homer. Who let the dogs out? Who? There's a lot of reasons to just loathe Alex Rodriguez. From just being a weird kind of dumb sociopath to being a roid user to just being a shitty human being and leaving Seattle. Asshole. But the thing I hate most is that Alex Rodriguez made the song Who Let the Dogs Out popular. He made it his walk-up song when he was at the peak of his popularity in Seattle as, you know, batting champion and a home run smashing shortstop. And the entire reason you heard that song in 50 different movies was because of Alex Rodriguez. So you can blame him for that. And that alone should be reason to keep him out of the Hall of Fame. That's what I have to say. Corey Jones. What up, big brother? Any updates on Finger? Also go Braves. No updates. I would not doubt if at some point in October they get another run to $7 plus. Now, what I think needs to happen with Finger is that run needs to coincide and go through a monthly options expiration date. Now, it got really close last month, or this month, September. It got to like $7.80 or something. And then the Friday of the options chain, it completely collapsed below where the bulk of the options were expiring. And then we had no gamma the next Monday. So what they need to get to like break $8 when all those options expire on a Friday, get a hell of a gamma on Monday, and I think it can run from there. So we sit and wait. Or the guys who are super short on them just kind of get vaporized. That can happen too. Okay. Ryan Priestley. Woo! I got pumped for Monday's show. I guess I'm home Tuesday. Yeah, sorry. I watched PP show and I worked late and didn't do one yesterday. That's okay, because we were saving it up for Charity Tuesday, and we're here to rock and roll. Another anonymous donation. Thank you. Marla Valdez, when do you think BBYQ will pop or bust? Down to the wire on the 30th or before that? I don't quite know. Now, I was discussing with someone like, if it perhaps pops on, say, or they drop something in the docket sometime before Saturday, you might get something weird. Or maybe because it cancels on Saturday, they have until Monday to drop something in the docket. I don't quite know the formalities of popping out of bankruptcy. I do know that the language that they used in the 8K about canceling shares is the exact same language that Hertz used and US Air used when they were coming out of bankruptcy. So, and Hertz went from 60 cents to $45. This right now is at 7 cents, but there's a very, very large crowd of buy and hold memesters on this sucker. So if it is something that exists after Saturday and shorts are forced to cover or close, I think it can go well past $45 if that's the case. Because Hertz was not a meme play. There was not, a bunch of Reddits are like, oh yeah, we're getting Hertz is gonna be fucking awesome, and they're rocking and rolling. It just kind of happened, and everyone's like, oh, look at that. But in this case, there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, a million memesters loaded up onto this as lotto tickets. And if it rock and rolls, then it's going to rock and roll hard. If it doesn't rock and roll, then, again, tax write-offs for next year. Condolences pouring out for my homies. Those are your options. So here we are. We got 1 or 2 ways to go. I'm hoping for the big one. That blank, no name whatsoever. Just going to put a blank sign. And there we go. A $5 donation. Fantastic. Danny Moats. Houston. If we hold BBYQ ticker down to 0 during cancellations and a new ticker emerges, what happens to our cost basis and potential losses? I think your cost basis still stays the same. All the attributing factors transfer over to the new ticker. That's the way it should be anyway. So I would assume that your cost basis stays the same. Although they messed up the cost basis on NextBridge, and they made everyone's cost basis the final price of the stock. Which, if you bought it, $1 and all of a sudden the stock price is $290 or whatever, then it looks like you made a bunch of money, but you didn't because you can't sell anything. So there's been all sorts of screw ups as far as the taxes go on that. But I believe it should be the cost basis of what you bought into at. But maybe if they do the same thing they did with NextBridge, maybe your cost basis will be 7 cents. I don't know. Kelly Reed, Houston, do you think we will enter a depression? The CBDC will step in from dollar being undervalued, from more printing, from economy collapsing? Well, I think if you're using a central bank digital currency, you are essentially printing dollars, if that's the case. You can make as many of those as you want, send them to as many banks as you want, and they can do what they will from there. So I don't think it would stop printing, because it's just a different way of printing. But yeah, when the economy collapses, you spend your way out of it. That's it. We live in a Keynesian system. That's what you do. You spend your way out of it. Now, a lot of our spending our way out of it is so much related to quantitative easing and not other aspects like building stuff. The CWA, WPA projects of the 1930s, we built a lot of really cool infrastructure in this country. And it put people to work. So people were unemployed. We're like, hey, start clearing trails and building national park lodges and dams and, railroads. And like, we had people just building stuff. And it was kind of in the vein of what they're doing in like Dubai, right? Like in Saudi Arabia, like they have so much money, they need to do something with it. So just building stuff for the sake of it. In this case, we need to get money flowing through the economy, so we're just going to build things for the sake of it. And we did our best to build stuff that could last the test of time and be sort of a monument to what those folks did. I would love to see programs like the Work Progress Administration happen if the economy crashes again. I watched the George Foreman biopic on Netflix the other day. Not a very good production value, but gets the story across. And he started boxing from a teacher at his Job Corps program. Now the Job Corps program is way different than it is today. Like you got in a bus, it was like you joined the military, and you went to an academy and you got skills in some kind, whether it was like machining, welding, sewing, building boats, like whatever it may be. Today there's Jobs Corps, but it's kind of like you spend your afternoon at a community center learning to do Excel. Hey, fat cat. Cattail karaoke. Oh, hi, buddy. Yes, you're just a little dude. So, I don't know. Maybe we need to start focusing on programs like that again. And we definitely need, like, to subsidize more industry that I think is a matter of national security. Like, Jersey sent me a thing the other day about China is limiting the amount of germanium and other rare earths that are, are you going to rub that thing again? There you go. And let's push the other way. There we go. Nope. All right. I guess it's going to be focused on me for a little bit. And like we need those things for making computer chips and stuff. So they are definitely in like a soft war with us over computer chips. Like we've got to know how to make them. And us and our allies make the most of them, and they're better than anything China can produce. But China's got the materials. And China has the materials largely because they subsidize the mining of these rare earths. And the United States has just as much rare earths as China has access to. But our government is really terrible at subsidizing mining programs. Like, you can go out and claim on federal land, like, hey, I'm going to claim this amount for me. And cool. But that doesn't get you the $1 billion you need to actually start getting the material out of the ground. And that's where China does really well because they're, a centrally planned government. They go, send $1 billion to that mine. Make sure we get everything we can. Let's drop out of that open pit. Oh, go get that kitten. Go get him. There you go. We need to do something similar. I mean, we have mines in Maine, Wyoming, and California for rare earths that we keep trying to open up. I say we, but it's really some private company, and they can never get off the ground. They can't get enough financing to start producing. And that becomes a national security issue. So, granted, the government's going to shut down any day now because nobody can agree on anything. So, good luck trying to find funding to subsidize needed stuff like rare earth minerals for manufacturing of national security apparatus. But hey, that's just me. Cheshire, Houston. Are you DSing your BBYQ shares? If shares are canceled, are shares still in DRS account? Thanks. You're great. Big hugs to Monkey Button to Batman. It won't matter. Like, I have shares of Sears. Those are in Schwab. Sears has been canceled for years. So I still have those shares. And canceling is different than deleting. If they deleted, the shares cease to exist. Poof. Never to be seen again. If they're canceled, it means that equity can be swapped into something else still. So there is a difference between deleted and canceled. You'll see people confuse the two constantly. Even FINRA confused the two and had to issue a correction during the MMTLP fiasco. They originally said deleted. Everyone's like, no, canceled. They're like, oh, right, canceled, sorry. Because if it's deleted, that means the company ceases to exist. The equity ceases to exist. Everything ceases to exist. It just blinks out and no longer is a part of the thread of history. It's like as if the Mongol hordes reversed back and destroyed a village. They do not exist anymore. Maybe in song, and that's about it. So, canceled is different than deleted. Jason Blackwell, Houston. I'm really into eating alternative words, but now my throat is the thesaurus ever. That's your reminder. We are $477 to our goal, almost 50% of the way there, to our $1,000 goal, raising money for the International Rescue Committee, who are on the ground in North Africa helping in the earthquakes, helping with the relief efforts with earthquakes in Marrakesh and the floods in Libya, where we've lost probably tens of thousands of people and hundreds of thousands are homeless, and the devastation is unreal. I hope and pray that none of you ever have to experience what those folks have gone through over the last several weeks. And can the Earth just stop doing natural disasters for a moment so that we can like raise money for a charity, for different charity than like trying to rescue thousands of people from harm? Let's try that. Let's try that, Earth. Just listen to me here. Just give it a break, a little while, just a little while, and we can like do a charity for, I don't know, puppies or something. Oh, Dr. Caesar Shadem is in here. And I'll move my kitty thing. Dawn Seas. Boom. Thank you. Okay. Where am I? Belgian whale. I guess I'll just sit here for 11 hours. Because I did post a show really early. Yeah, Martin Weiss is here. Spent several nights here in a tent. In the most amazing place during summer nights. Dumpy bandage measuring. Oh, we're going to 3 words. We can 3 words this thing. Boom. Boom. Oh, yeah. You. Come on. You. That one. Whereas on the Kroll is where I was. Anything happening in Kroll yet? Refresh. Oh. Withdrawn document application, ProHack Vice by creditor MSC Mediterranean Shipping Company, filed by Daniel Morgan on behalf of Mediterranean Shipping. That doesn't seem like it's anything interesting. There's nothing interesting happening there. Do I already have what 3 words up on here? Maybe not. What 3 words? Martin, going camping. Boom. Dumpy bandage measuring. Give me the satellite, baby. We are... Where are we? House by the Sea. AS. Where am I? Oh, we're up in Norway. Okay, we're way north. Look at this little island out in the middle of nowhere. So you camped by this little lake out here? Look Look at these little pothole lakes. That's kind of cool. Everyone in Norway has a cabin, by the way. Everyone has a cabin that their family has. They have their main home, and then they go to their summer cabin somewhere, and it's always in like the coolest little places. But yeah, all 5 million people in Norway, each one of them has a cabin somewhere. So it's my family cabin. Yes, you all have one. That's a cool little spot. We got some fishing fish farms here. Probably for Atlantic salmon, be my guess. Got the little town. Got the ferry. Decent sized little port here for the 20 homes that are on that whole island. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. That's a very small island. Like, probably a couple 100 acres. Not very big. Cool. Neat. Artemis, third. Getting a start. You guys are all wrong. You guys are all so wrong. You just can't see the chats before you. You all think you're so early in here, but you're not. It was Coffee Donuts and Homer. He was first today. Or she, actually. I'm not sure of the gender of Coffee Donuts and Homer. They were first. Houston, thanks for another avenue to help our fellow humans in need. Keep up the good work, friend. Yes. It pleases me to no end. And I would absolutely love to see giving, like I saw yesterday at the PP show. Like, they said that dude $27,000 yesterday. Like, send that, do that for charity. Come on, folks. Let's do that for people who like lost their homes and loved ones and got run over by boulders. And yeah, we can help folks out a lot with that kind of money. So by all means, like, I raise consistently $1,000 or more every month for charity on here, and through ads and what few super chats you guys give me, I'm like $700 to $1,000 a month I can make from YouTube. So Charity Tuesday is the main money maker beyond anything YouTube gives me for doing these shows. So by all means, donate. We'll throw your name in there, get you Blue Sky codes, and you can laugh at all the shit posters that I've left Twitter. Love to see you on there, and we can help people. So, okay. Kelly, large corporate bankruptcies, the impact of spiking interest rates, and after more than 10 years of 0% is hitting and wheels are flying off the economy. Yeah. Now imagine you have a whole bunch of companies over the last decade who are borrowing at really low interest rates, right? Maybe not fixed interest rates. Maybe they're adjustable to do things like stock buybacks to keep their stock prices inflated so they can give the bonuses to their C-level executives. Now, what happens if those companies who borrowed tens of billions of dollars to do these stock buybacks now all of a sudden have to pay just boatloads in interest rates because their interest rate keeps going up because they didn't borrow at fixed rate terms. They're screwed, man. They're absolutely 100%, no doubt, screwed. Walt, the man in the middle. Walt. Oops, that's Wat. There's Walt, the man in the middle. Thank you. Another anonymous. Sweet. Okay. That is pounds, which is more than $5. So I want to take note of that. Why is my mouse freaking out? Why are you freaking out, mouse? Sorry, it's like wiggling all over the place as if the laser's broken or something. Is it this mouse? This one freaking out? I have one that's plugged in case the other one dies. Okay. You seem to have done their job. Alright. We're no longer wiggling. We're good. Okay. Sorry, it was just like freaking out and bouncing all over the page and I couldn't poke on things. Coffee Donuts and Homer, when is the BBYQ event going to happen? I'm shocked that all the RC and ICANN breadcrumbs have led to nothing so far. My guess is they got until this weekend. So I was hoping this week would be explodey, and we'd have cool stuff happen. But either it's going to happen or it isn't. We just gotta sit with it. If ran chat reset last night with a connection loss message, could be a YouTube problem. Well, at least I still see the chats, so that's good. You guys may have lost it, but I can still see it. Jake in Houston, recently seeing a trade in the same sector, which was NMRD, Nimrod, that looked promising, and No Labs, which leaves the decision to be made. What are your thoughts on the both of them? I don't know anything about NMRD. Hi, Monkey Butt. How are you? But No Labs is getting hammered. They're getting hammered down because they aren't really producing much in the way of news. And the last thing they produced was their quarterly report, which was like, hey, we got plenty of money through December, and we'll probably have to raise some equity in December. And so the shorts are like, they're going to dilute. We're going to hammer them down. So they're getting pushed further and further and further down. But I have the feeling that they're going to make an announcement about successful phase 3 trials, probably sometime this winter. And with that, we'll be like, hey, we're applying for FDA approval. And that alone should be enough to pump the stock price, and then they can sell more to raise funds for the remaining year or two and go from there. Once they apply for FDA approval, it could take a few months to a year to get it. But once they're an FDA approved medical device, dude, light the fuse. That baby is blasting to the moon. So they're going to get hammered down. Remember, like we had Ron on the show. Ron is not, he does not care what the shorts think. He cares about making a product that works and is viable and is out there. This is a dude who's taken, a dozen companies through IPOs to make them $1 billion companies in the past. And Double Down Interactive, Egghead Software. He was an early investor, angel investor in Facebook. The guy is not a chump. He's not. He is legit businessman. He owns race car tracks and a host of other things. Like he's just a badass. So he's going to get this company off the ground, and they're going to get FDA approval. And once that happens, they're golden, baby. But NMRD, I don't know, NMRD. NMRD. Nomura Medical. Developing wireless non-invasive blood glucose monitoring system. Sugarbeet. Oh, they're one of the competitors. Okay. So they're doing the same thing. They're UK based. Okay, so they still have to wear patches for theirs. And their last published results were from 2016. So that's what I'm seeing here. They expected Sugarbeet to be launched in 2018, has not launched. So they've been on the NASDAQ since 2018, but they have not launched their device yet, as it seems. So they missed their launch period by 5, almost 6 years now. That's probably why they're getting hammered. Okay. They're looking for UK launch and then Europe, Middle East, and Australia, which to me is okay. But all the diabetics are here, baby. You gotta come to fat ass America. if you want to make money in the diabetic monitoring sphere, you gotta come to America. We got all the poorly performing pancreases you could want. J. King, Houston, thank you for your thoughts and input. My pleasure. BOH, Houston, is it bad that I kind of want the BYQ thing to be a complete dud? Those people are in a cult and they need to pay market tuition to learn not to buy literally bankrupt companies. I mean, I would not want that to happen since going to the moon is way more interesting. Right, Monkey? Right? Why are you staring at me like that? You want to come up here and say hi? Yeah, come say hi. There we go. Because Monkey Butt needs a 4-wheel drive RV so she can see the country. Right, buddy? That's what you need. Yeah. You just get a big ass 4-wheel drive RV and then we climb all over the mountains. We do that for the rest of our lives. That sound cool? Yeah. Doesn't it? Oh, doesn't it sound cool? Doesn't it sound cool? But yeah, investing in bankrupt companies, there are hits and misses. And when it hits huge. I mean, seriously, US Air and Hertz are two examples. Hertz went from 60 cents to $45, like that. And they went right back onto the NASDAQ, and they're a legit company doing their thing all over again. So it can happen. It also happened that the company is toast. All their good stuff gets gobbled up by somebody else, and we're left in the lurch. So we're gambling here. That's all it is. And as long as people recognize that it's not a sure thing and that you're gambling, then that's okay. If they're so dead set that it is a certain thing, it is a sure thing, I don't know what to tell you. And they're like mortgaging their house and buying 1 million shares and stuff like that. I don't know how to fix that kind of stupid. But people did the same thing with AMC. Like they're buying in when it's $50 and it's now what, 80 cents compared to what it was. So, right, Monkey, it's just, there are winners and losers, I guess. BOH, as for AMC, Adam Aaron keeps doing the exact worst thing literally every time. There is nobody on the board or C-suite who isn't a short hedge fund plan at this point. Yeah. So Jersey posted a clip from my show, The Orange Sweater, last week, where I talked about how collateralized bonds work to the BBBY Reddit subreddit. And the shills were out in force. My stalker showed up and was annoying. They eventually deleted his comments, whatever. But someone was like, why do you even listen to this guy? He's wrong about everything. I'm like, I am not right about everything. I'll give you that much. But I have been very right when it comes to AMC. Like, I've just teed up and that sucker is out of here. I was so right. I squared up on that ball so hard. You know, I said when they announced Ape last year, I was like, cool. Got to go for T90. You got to wait until all these shorts have defaulted on obligations to provide the dividend. And if you do that, the stock price will fly because people will start to get liquidated to make up for what they owe their lenders. Do not sell any shares before then. And they waited and they waited and they waited. And I was like, okay, here we go. We're going to get there. The stock price went down and down and down and down and down for the apes. And then it got announced before the 90 days were up that Adam Aaron had sold 300 million of them at a 10-cent discount to a short hedge fund. Okay, so there goes Ape. Any possibility of Ape being the fuse, the rocket ship. And like, if you're going to sell 300 million of those things and you're going to sell them before the 90 days were up, sell them at the beginning when they're $10 a share. Duh. Make $3 billion, pay off the majority of your debt. You're done, right? You don't need to do anything else. So then he's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to combine all the Ape and all the AMC into AMC. Then we're going to do a reverse split and everything's be honky-dory. So, I was like, well, then just buy a bunch of Ape because it's going to become the same value as AMC. You may at least make a little money off of it. There you go. And then they got sued because they ended up selling so many Ape to Antera that it violated their own charters of corporation because they sold too many shares to a company and they got sued. So it delayed that whole thing. Blah, 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 blah. And then I said, hey, and this is when I had AMC Bigums on the show. This was our difference was that he was like, hey, they're going to raise a bunch of capital from this thing. They're going to pay off a boatload of their debt, and then they're going to be A-okay. And I was like, I think the shorts are going to hammer it down. They're not going to raise as much capital as they need, and they're going to be screwed. And lo and behold, they raised $300 million. Woo! Wow-wee. Now you only have $5.1 billion in debt. That's completely oppressive to your entire existence. And the stock price has been hammered into nothingness. It's down 97, 98% since its high in June of 2021. If you bought in June of 2021 at $77, you are down basically $763. Like, so, yeah, I'm not right about everything, but sometimes the writing's on the wall. It's so strong and it's so there, and you can just like see it. It's saying, this is stupid. Don't do this. And you just got to read that. Monkey, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. No hunting the cat. I know you think you're playing, but you look scary when you do it. Yeah, the shills are having a major meltdown over there, though. It's kind of funny. Yo, look at this guy. His cluttered office. I'm like, well, I mean, I have books on shelves. Are books clutter if they're on where they're supposed to be on the bookshelf? Those are bookshelves. Those are books on shelves. I guess it's busy in the background, but I'm not gonna like build a new wing to my house that has some like blue light, soft lighting spec, whatever. You can look at my books or not. I don't care. I mean, over my shoulder on this side, that's a Gwar book right there. That's an amazing book about Gwar. BFH, not financial advice. As unprofitable as No Labs is at the moment, at least they have a proper business model and a path to profitability. I would put my money in them before AMC, BBYQ, or GME. Yeah, it's like when I got my astronomy degree in college, right? You have to take physics 1 before you take physics 2. You have to take physics 2 before you can take classical mechanics. You have to take classical mechanics before you take modern mechanics. You have to take modern mechanics before you can take quantum. Like, there's a certain level, like, you have to do these things because they're built in a progression, right? Now, a company like No Labs, they have to design the device, test the device in-house. Then they have to do either lab trials with animals or humans. Then they've got to do double-blind peer review lab trials. Then they have to make a commercial device, test that in the same way to make sure it works just like their lab-specific device. And then they have to apply for FDA approval. It takes decades and millions of dollars to get that done. You have to do one step before the other. You have to graduate to the next step before you can move on to the one, because what you're looking for is when you're getting an FDA-approved medical device, the government is saying, this is the real deal. It's not hocus pocus. And we have certified it as a working device that provides a medical purpose. Now you can get like, what's the term for it, Monkey? They're not FDA approved. They're like FDA acknowledged devices. You'll get weird, like, this is the brain laser cancer cooker. It's an FDA device. And really it's just like, we submit paperwork to FDA and FDA said, we got your paperwork. And they stamped that on their thing saying, advertising to poor folks who will believe anything. But an FDA approved medical device is a way different animal. And that means insurance can pay for it. Doctors can prescribe it. It's a big deal. Okay, where are we? I missed out on donations. Okay, we got another anonymous. Moo Poolin is here. Moo Pool in. Bam. What else we got? We're over $500 now. That's fantastic. We're 588. Red lightsaber. Red lightsaber could be the last one. Red light saber. And another anonymous. Fantastic. Boom. $588. Orange Cat, we're 58.8% of the way there. Do you want to come visit everybody for Orange Cat? You seldom visit us up here, so I may as well come over and say hello. I'll bring you to the party, right, buddy? Here? Oh, yeah, come here. Come here, Orange Cat. Here. Oh, don't hiss at the dog. Come here. You can hang out. This is like a true lap cat. Cattail Karaoke, Orange Edition. Yeah. This cat gets so bored. She's really bored when she actually comes upstairs to like have me entertain her. And she sheds so much. Oh my gosh. Chalupa does not really shed like this. Are you jealous, little fat cat? Huh? That your buddy's up on my lap? Oh no, now the kitten's coming. Oh. Alright, there's everybody. so weird having so many cats in the house. I've never had this many cats in the house before. I don't know what the dynamic is like, but they are... I usually just have one cat. I have one cat. Well, growing up, we had two cats. We had Chi-Chi, who was like the cat. And then we had Bluezer, who was this very pretty Siamese cat my mom got, who had been raised by raccoons. And that cat was just a freakazoid and just hid under the shelf, like the 2-inch high shelf in the pantry for like years. So it wasn't really like we had multiple cats. We had Chi-Chi and we had the thing with glowing eyes in the pantry that was too scared to come out. And that's what we had. So really I've only lived with one cat ever up to this point. Peachy Sunday's here. All right, Peachy Sunday is the first one, the other side of the paper. Peachy Sunday. Anonymous. Heck yeah, Anonymous. All right. Damn, sons. That pushes at almost $700. Woo! 698, 69. Nice. 0.8% of the way there to our goal for the International Rescue Committee, who are on the ground helping relief and rescue efforts in Morocco post horrendous earthquake. The earthquake, it was only like a 6.5, but it was incredibly shallow in a very rocky place with a lot of homes that were not built to modern standards. Because a lot of these places are ancient cities. Like, they've been around for hundreds or thousands of years. A lot of the homes people were in may have been around for hundreds or thousands of years. A lot of them are like mud brick, unreinforced, Adobe style homes, which are great for like normal force pointing down. But when it comes to shear strength, there's nothing there, and they collapse, and they're very heavy, and they squish everything and everyone below them. So there's a lot of desperate people, a lot of homeless people, a lot of people have lost family members, loved ones, friends, support networks, the city mayors. Like, there are a lot hurt, missing, dead. We need a lot of help in those areas. And then get combined with the flash floods that happened in Libya, where a dam burst. And I don't know, like, not everyone here has like played in the ocean and experienced the power of what water can do. But if you've ever been like absolutely just folded in half by a wave before, I want you to imagine something that's 15 to 20 times taller and 1,000,000 times more powerful than that, coming roaring down a valley, and you have nowhere to go. Like, dam burst. Now you have a cajillion gallons of water flowing at close to free fall velocity down this valley, taking logs, trees, homes, people, horses, everything with it. So you're not just getting hit with the water, you're getting hit with all the debris that's being moved down slope with that water. It's taking out more homes and buildings and people. It is terrifying. And there's going to remain thousands upon thousands upon thousands of missing in Libya, because that dam washed them out into the Mediterranean. They are gone. They'll never be seen again. It's absolutely horrific. So, thank you for jumping in here. Another anonymous donation, and donating to help. Like, these people need help. They need help in the worst way possible. And someday, you may be on the other end of that and need the International Rescue Committee coming in with cranes and helicopters and dogs and bulldozers, and to help find your loved ones, help find you, help clear debris sites so that camps can be set up and tents can come in and people can have, even just the minimal basics for housing in desperate situations. So thank you everyone so far. We're over 70%. We're 70.3% of the way to our $1,000 goal. And I want to thank you, and hopefully, someone tell the PP show to get in here and bring some of those $500 donations that they were throwing around yesterday. I would love to see us, like, man, can you imagine raising like 27 grand for charity on one of these shows? Oh, that's what we do in a year. It's about what we do in a year of doing these charity shows, is around like $25,000. So that would be just freaking fantastic. Okay. Oh, Vera's here. Vera Nokum. SJ, fantastic. That's 20. That's 150. And another anonymous. And it's still, like, folks, I know, like, SJ has Blue Sky. If you donate, tell me who you want your donations to go to for the raffle. So we'll go through all the chat and I'll find if you mention in there, I will attribute your donation to that person in the chat. Maybe buddy, I don't know. Maybe you want to say, if you give it to me, I'll give it to my friend, whatever. But we'll yeah. Okay. Says 54, baby boomers are becoming homeless at a rate not seen since the Great Depression per Moneywise. Oh no. Anyways. Man. So I do think there's probably a lot of folks, a lot of baby boomers who were probably at the tail end of their work life, in the last 10 years of their work life, around the time the economy collapsed in 08, right? So they may have lost their homes. They may have lost their jobs and then found it next to impossible at their age to find new work in their fields because, it's ageism in this country. And they may not have the modern skills it takes for their roles. Like if you are an architect and you do pencil and paper drafting, you're going to lose out to somebody who can do CAD or SolidWorks or whatever when it comes to engineering, right? So there can be skill issues there. And so now you're to the point where you have Social Security, your savings got vaporized in 2008, your pension's gone because your company went belly up, and you cannot afford a home. Why? Because you're getting $1,700 a month from Social Security, which isn't enough for a home in this country because we're stupid. We charge too much for homes, and we allow Airbnbs and stuff like that to just drive up the prices. We allow, Saudi sheiks to come in and buy up a host of penthouse condos, raising the value of everything around them, and then they're never here because all they're doing is they're using the real estate as a way of like storing their wealth offshore. Yeah. So if you're going to be stuck, living off Social Security in this day and age, you're not going to make it. I did see something that was like, hey, if minimum wage goes $15 an hour, that gets you like $2,500 a month. Why isn't Social Security that much? Yeah, why isn't Social Security that much? Why do people who make more than $90,000 a year not paying in to Social Security with their FICA taxes? Why? Like, we could easily fund Social Security if rich people just paid into it. If you had all the C-level executives, all the Hollywood people, all the baseball players, and like people that make millions of dollars a year, they only pay Social Security taxes for the first $90,000, and they don't pay any taxes for the rest of it because they're not gonna have to use it. Okay, who gives a shit? We live in a society. You're benefiting from the society, so how about you just pay Social Security taxes on all of it, and then we could fund Social Security and not have to worry about losing out in the end. I would support taxing all income levels for Social Security so that people can survive. The whole reason Social Security exists is so that old people don't have to eat cat food like they did during the Great Depression and live in cardboard boxes. So let's do that again. Is it basically what we're saying? Hey, you'll be afford the fancy cat food while you live in a cardboard box. Felix, how do I say that name? Loyi? Felix Oylin. Felix Oyin Louis. Hope I said that right. Thank you. Robert Hertz. Hurt. Dang, son. Thank you. And Kevin. Just Kevin. Oops. There's a message blocking the way. Okay. There we go. And Stephanie L. Can jump in here as well. Stephanie L. Boom. Hey, holy crap. We reached $1,000 goal. That was quick. All right, that's it, guys. We're done for the day. Well, it was 1 hour. That's up there. towards one of the fastest we ever reached our goal. Fantastic. You guys are awesome. This is fantastic. We might not have the big bucks like everyone in the PP crowd viewership, but you know what? We get the job done. Another $1,000 towards a really good cause on yet another Charity Tuesday. And give yourselves a round of applause, pats on the back, high five each other, pet your dog, kiss your wife, whatever. Celebrate because you did it. Woo! Yeah. So we are 1/27th of the way to the PP show level of support. But, you know, one of these days, post MOAS, man, oh goodness. I bet the first show we do post MOAS is going to be so spectacular for charity. I'm going to find a really, 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 really good one. Like, sort of like the second charity show we ever did was for Second Story, which was a home in, I think it's North Carolina, that houses kids who've been taken from childhood abuse, physical, sexual abuse situations. And on that show, we raised more than 1% of their entire budget for a year to support like 100 kids a year in that house. So post MOAS, we're going to find a charity, a small charity that does really, really good work. And then we're going to fund them for the rest of their existence. That's going to be my goal. So keep that in mind. Find some small charity that does really nice stuff. And we will fund them in perpetuity with what happens on our Charity Tuesday show. It's gonna be amazing. Okay, Vera Nocum. One last month you can remove my name. Vera? Did you want to donate your donations to anyone in particular? We can. I mean, if you see a friend in the chat, someone you like, we can donate to them. Hopefully, that's not somebody that already has a Blue Sky code. So let's put a star next to Vera. And we'll put her in maybe the anonymous pile there. Okay. Where am I? Okay. I'm still like hours behind in the chat here because I'm still doing ones before the show even started. Deck PHW, the Google donation is not working for me. It happens. Google sends me money every month to my account, but won't let me use that account to send money to charity via them. So I don't know what the solution is. But you've donated in the past, right? Because you've won these things in the past. You won. I think last month you won Blue Sky Code. So I know you've done in the past, but man. Chris, like, open Mumu account. Seems you can buy BBYQ naked Guatemalans there. Let's burn some money. That's, yes. Mumu requires you to be on margin, I think, if you have an account with them. So you just automatically are on margin with them in your lending. So any share you buy is probably a borrowed share, naked share, and they immediately just lend out to somebody else. So it's when these things go down, Mumu may be one of those things that just kind of blinks out of existence. I don't know who is the main broker behind Mumu. Is there some main broker that they use? Lucas Speed Houston, what do you think they'll find in the asteroid sample they brought back to Earth? Is the asteroid sample? I thought it was the tail of a comet that they gathered up. I might be confusing my recovery operations. If it's tail of a comet, they'll get water, CO2, volatiles, ammonia, methane, probably little chunks of like carbonaceous chondrite rocks, things like that. If it's an asteroid, depends on what type of asteroid they're gathering from. If it's a rocky asteroid, it'll look kind of gravelly. It'd probably be carbonaceous chondrites, things like that, unless it's something that's more metallic, in which case it'd be metal. But we have lots of examples of asteroids. So, you know, they fall from the sky all the time. We can go collect them. We have them in museums. What we don't have are physical specimens of what exactly is inside of a comet. We can see the way the light passes through it, what light is being absorbed, but that doesn't always tell you everything as to like what the beef is inside that comet. So we can infer as to what our atmosphere is like in our oceans because those probably came from comets. But It'd be nice to know exactly what the recipe is inside those comments. My guess is lots of volatile materials. Lots of hydrocarbons. Lucas Speed, you can exclude me from the raffle last month. I won last month. You did win last month, and you sent me a boatload of tickers. Who do you want your donations to go to? So I'll put Ludicrous Speed a little. So Jiggish gets a little star. Ludicrous Speed, where are you? I lost you. Ludicrous Speed, there we go. Okay. Put little stars next to the folks that I know have codes, and can randomly select people. Okay. Fat cat is back. Doodly-doo. Doodly-doo. Yeah? You guys ever listen to the Fat Boys back in the day? Come on, Fat Cat. Come on. Are you going to go up there? Okay, you can go up there. Butthole. I love the Fat Boys. I was a kid. I wanted to be a beatboxer with the Fat Boys, but I was never good at beatboxing, so it's never going to happen for me. Brenda, Queen of Swords, can't buy BBYQ on any platform. SEC has it as sell only. If you're buying BBYQ, let me know where. Fidelity, Schwab, TD, none will sell. I called them all. Yeah, I would love to pick up like 10,000 more shares just for the hell of it to see what happens, because I'm a degenerate gambler. But apparently Moo don't care. And Moo will sell you fake shares all day long. And there you go. Sir Alert! Oh, Houston. Missed out on BBYQ bonds. Arg. Yeah, they were selling for like a penny on the dollar. Jeff Crispin, no, yes, you can send me a Blue Sky invite. So Jeff Crispin doesn't need Blue Sky invite either if he's offering them to me. So maybe we'll have, I don't know, maybe I'll do a raffle of the random people in the chat and see what we can get. Another anonymous donation here, 20 Canadian. 20 Canada. Oh, and there's reset of the chat. That's annoying. Okay. Okay, go back. We have, man, there's a lot of chats that I need to get through here. I can probably go to like 4:30 today, so we can do like another hour and a half-ish. Hopefully I can get through as many of these as I possibly can, because we are still so far behind. Okay, there's Jeff Chrisman. Got it. Okay. Aaron Sounding, Houston. Finger has pump at the end of the last 20 minutes of the close. When Univest finally buys in and S3 is approved, the stock is going to fly to Pluto. I hope that's before November 15th, because that's when my options are up. I bought those in like June, hoping that we'll get above $1 or something. And so, to the moon, monkey. To the moon. And of course, yeah. The Hobbler, who's Blue Sky? I've never seen it. It's new. Their user base is about 1.5 million so far. Slowly bringing people on board as they scale up. They're definitely not on the level of like Twitter that has 1 billion users, or Facebook or something, but they probably will be someday. They don't quite have all of the accoutrement you expect from a short form social media. The most annoying one is there's no DMs yet, but people are complaining a lot, so maybe the developers will finally allow that to happen. But it does not, so far, it doesn't have ads, doesn't have bots, and a lot of the shitty people no one likes, so no one's giving them invite codes. So there's a lot of shitty people have not made it onto the platform yet. So it's kind of been a respite from like neo-Nazis and stuff that are starting to flood Twitter and take over. Okay, so we've got, I'm going to put down here John Castro donated. I'm going to put a line next to you, and then Snurtlert says he wants a code. Snurtlert, maybe it can be one of the ones people donate towards. Scott Pollen would use a code. Okay. Scott Pollen. And Cameron Mirza, Chef Jose should get a Nobel Prize. Yes. We've done two big donations. We've raised almost $4,000, I think, for World Central Kitchen with Jose Andres. He's amazing and absolutely amazing. Feeds so many millions of people every year in the most desperate situations. And even he's like, hey, I'm setting up my kitchens in the DC area to feed out of work government workers if the government shuts down. He tweeted that the other day. Like he's like, you idiots in the government need to figure your shit out. Why do I have to feed all of your employees because you can't do your job? So no, he should definitely get a Nobel Prize. I would nominate him in a heartbeat. Man should get a Nobel Prize. James Perigo, thank you so much for saying my last name correctly. Hey! Perigo. Monkey Butt, are you being a dick to the cats? Stop being a dick. Yes, hi. Sapien Houston, what do you think this BBY docket is coming? You got me, man. Whoops. That, whoa, what just happened? Whoa. The docket is now trying to get me to enter a password. What's going on here? Docket? Oh, I was back, okay. Nothing interesting happening yet. We still have that withdrawal document from some shipping company. Who cares? That's not the juiciness we're looking for. So we wait. Frozen State Productions. My wife says my dog exactly 1 hour before I get home sits by the door. I get home at varying times. Does he have access to the space-time continuum? How can I access it? They seem to know. Like, cats know exactly what time it is at all times. They got a clock. Recently, it seems like Monkey Butt begs my roommates to go outside so that she's outside when I drive home after work. And same time every night. She's like, there, okay, I'm waiting for you. So they know what's up. Dog. I have a hole in my finger that I think a cat made, and I need to mess with it. Okay. Says 54, Joe Biden walks picket line. Dark Brandon don't give a fuck. Yeah, he's out there with the picketers for the United Auto Workers. Apparently, they came to a deal with the workers in Canada. So the Canadian auto workers have a contract, but the American ones don't. Also, there's a tentative deal for the writers in for their strike. Not with the actors yet. The actors actually voted to strike video games. So this sounds like they're going to be striking in the video game realm as well. Looking for a new contract there. But the writers, from the sounds of it, have gotten everything they asked for from Hollywood. So basically, the Hollywood elites shut down production for no reason when they could have just given them everything they wanted in the first place. I think they realized that you can't produce content without people who make content. Your job is to produce content. These people make the content, and you can't make it without them. Maybe you should pay them for what they do. Novel idea. Say Sapien, where can I see the dockets for BBYQ? Right here. Kroll and Associates. They can literally go into Google and type Kroll space BBBYQ, and the first thing will pop up will be the docket. So it'll look like this. And it shows you what's been updated most recently. So yesterday we had something about abandoned property. Wherever these B and C certificate notices are, those aren't anything interesting. And then like this is something about some shipper who gives a shit. That's nothing interesting. But the interesting things will pop up here, and you can refresh it every once in a while and see what comes of it. Nothing. De nada. Right? Hey, Fatso. Oh, you're just so fuzzy. How'd you get so fuzzy? Were you born this way? All right, a little more of the fat cat in there. Okay. What's Houston's ID on Reddit? U/Houstman. Houst, Houst, man, M-A-N. Houst man. You can click off more random Japanese phrases, sell them as shirts. You'll get some crazy return on investment. I need to ask my little sister to. I will say weird things in English, and then she'll tell me what they are in Japanese, and we will get that squared away. First Day Productions, the 11-year-old girl who wants a horse, and when Moas happens, I'll buy her one. I'm looking for a well-balanced horse that I will name Stable. First Day Productions, are there any photos of Chinese housing units that people safely live in? All I see are crumbling empty units. Well, crumbling empty units are what are known as tofu dang construction, and they were never meant to be lived in. They were like the physical Bitcoin of China. Now, in populated areas, major cities, Shanghai, Beijing, places like that, real estate is freakishly expensive and people cannot necessarily afford to own it, right? So, and because of the one-child policy meant, killing a lot of baby girls for a long time in China because sons are more valuable. And now those sons can't get married because they outnumber the women quite significantly. And to make themselves appeal to young women, these men must own property. So they will buy the tofu dang construction, some condo built 500 miles away out in the jungle somewhere by, Shiny Happy People Incorporated. And they'll buy it and they can tell their betrothed or the woman they're courting, like, hey, I own property. And they go, oh, wow, how much is it worth? Well, I was planning on selling it for this many cajillions of dollars because somebody else wants to attract a woman and he needs to buy it. So there was a greater fool fallacy going on with the construction boom that's happening in China. You'd build shitty condos somewhere that no one could live in because they didn't actually have doors or stairwells or electricity or windows. It was just this like unit to hold wealth. And you'd buy this Bitcoin apartment, essentially, and you'd tell the person you're courting, like, I own property. And they go, wow, let's get married. You get married, you then sell that property to the next person who needs it. But the problem is that they're building more of that tofu dang. So for a brief time, the value of those crappy properties were increasing because there were lots of young men who needed to buy them to get married. But eventually there's so many apartments and they're crumbling and they really have no ultimate value. So once you run out of the last fool, the last greater fool, then there's no more value in any of these units. So the entire market comes crashing down. And on top of that, you had the same companies building legit units that people had to live in, right? And because there's not very much in the way of mortgage financing in China, you would oftentimes pay for the unit up front. So you're like, hey, my family needs a condo. We're living with my parents. We need to get the hell out of here and move into a new place. And Evergrande or, whatever, Sunco, one of those companies, they say, okay, you give us, $200,000 US, and in 6 months, you'll have yourself a condo. And you go, okay, here's $200,000 I borrowed from my aunts and uncles and nieces and grandma and everything. And boom, we can now get ourselves a condo. And Evergrande did that all over the place and expecting, that they would sell a bunch more tofu dang. Tofu dang dried up. Those aren't selling anymore. They used the finances from what the condo you're supposed to be getting, and they use that to pay for the condos that are already built that they were in debt on. And now they don't have any cash to actually build the condo you paid for, and it becomes a Ponzi scheme at that point. So that's the basis of what's happening in China. And now they got 3 billion units and 1.4 billion people, which means they'll be like Norway. Everyone will have a country cabin somewhere. It won't have electricity, stairs, or windows, but everyone will have one. Hoshi, got any good metal detectors to go to Waikiki, search for things in the sand? Again, like those Garrett Pros that we were talking about last show. If you're looking for treasure, those are the type of detectors you want because they can differentiate your metals pretty well. Shows up on the display, whether it's going to be gold, coin, pull tab, you name it. $500-600 probably set you back. They've got some lower quality ones, and if you're just looking for anything that makes a boop boop sound, you can get those off of like eBay for $100. As long as you don't care what you're looking for, you just scoop up things off the beach. That's the way to go. You want to get one of those little cool beach trowels as well that have the perforated holes in them, so you can like shake out the sand and have your $70,000 tennis bracelet you find on the beach sit there for you. So, it's an investment. It's an investment in your future, is what I'm saying. BW Brand, there's some interesting YouTube channels that do China updates and reports that can be negative, but they also tell you more than other places dare. Yeah, there are three kinds of China news stations. There's the propaganda channel, which is like, everything in China is great. I'm just talking about, it's fantastic. Xi's amazing. Then there's the ones that are like, in 21 days, the Chinese government will collapse. And they make wild predictions about the exact moment this thing is going to, like, they only have 15 more days of money and then they're out. I'm like, those ones are also bullshit. And then you get the ones from like actual reporters who are like, this is what's happening. This is bad. This is good. Whatever. I guess you got to go find them. I would stay away from the everything China's great and wonderful. And I would stay away from the ones that are trying to tell you exactly in 29 days, China's toast. Because those guys post the same video 100 times, and they've been doing it for 5 years, and so far China's not toasted yet. They're in the shitter, that's for sure. They're printing money like crazy. Their real estate market has completely collapsed. They're losing trading partners. There are bad things happening, but it's not in that there's a specific like clock. We started the ticker, and they're going to be gone. No, there's still 1.4 billion people doing things there. KYP Houston, do you think we will have an answer on BBYQ this week? Also, do you feel purchasing BBYQ on Moomoo? I do not have a Moomoo account. I've not attempted to buy anything on Moomoo. I have a whole bunch of cash settled in Fidelity that if I wanted to get out of Fidelity, will take days. And then try to get settled into Moomoo. I don't know if I'll make it in time. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not holding out hope for me getting things squared away with Moomoo in time. But if you can, more power to you. Jeff Christmas sent the invite via Reddit. Thank you. And Stuart, why doesn't Tether shit the bed? It keeps trying. It keeps trying real hard. It's depegged so many times. It dropped down to like 70 cents and then bounced right back again. So let's see here. It's back basically pegged at $1 again. It dropped really low. It gotten down to 80 cents twice in the last year. Yeah, it's depegged a couple of times. And then it did a weird thing when everyone was getting out of Binance where the price screamed. They were trying to get out of Binance, so it like depegged the other direction. But seriously, they can't find the money. It's gone. It's gone. So if there's a run on crypto, they better hope that Bitcoin value vanishes before Tether's value vanishes, because Tether could bring it all down. Tether is a crime. It is straight up 100% a criminal organization committing fraud, and it's being held up. Well, people are clapping like it's Tinkerbell trying to survive in the play. Prawesh Dungal People want to donate Blue Sky code. Okay. Prawesh. DHUNGL. Okay, I'll put you in the donation pile there. So what I might do, I might take the people who already have codes and the folks who donate anonymously, and anyone who's desperately wanting a code of their own, but don't have the means to donate today, we'll just split them all up, and I'll give you those. That work? Into the raffle and see how it goes. I don't know. Yeah. Ted Bingham, Houston. I heard you talking about stock price passing Hertz. If it doesn't pass that, would it be called a Hertz donut? Hertz donut. Lee Meadows, Houston. If BYQ pops, I'm buying an awesome mobility scooter. Then I'm going to going through the process of getting surgery. There you go. Also, remember, if you can help Lee Meadows out, trying to raise money to buy at least a used mobility scooter if you can. You got hit by a car and needs all the help you can get to get moving around. Hungry Caveman is in the house. Hungry Caveman. Adding to our donations for the International Rescue Committee. Thank you so much. We're kicking ass, taking names well over $1,000, and we can keep it going because, we want to help people. That's our goal here. Artemis wants a Blue Sky code too, and she also is a donor, so I'm going to put a little tag next to her. Lee Meadows, and next month's charity will be epic. This is true. Ted Bingham, Houston. Why is the cure for cancer so elusive? Do you think the cause of cancers would ever actually be revealed if and when they hurt big corporations we all use in our lifestyles? Well, I mean, cancers exist because our DNA is imperfect. Now, what happens when you form cancer is that your DNA, your cells are constantly having to regenerate themselves. So like, you've heard the thing, like after 7 years, you're a completely new person because all your cells have regenerated. Well, those cells get damaged, and they get damaged from the environment, from UV rays, from free radicals, oxidants flying through your body, from radioactive material they may have come in contact with, from chemicals that can burn and cut through your DNA strands. And so when your DNA gets damaged in a certain way, your body tries to do like what happens in a PCR process, where you just sort of, you get your C's, G's, and T's and A's, and they all match up to make your helix. And one of them gets damaged, your body will throw in like another A to meet up with that C or whatever, or G, C, G's, T's, and A's. Yeah, T's. And but sometimes multiple parts can get broken, and it kind of just makes it up. And it might be something completely different than what you were born with when that damage happens, and it replicates the damage over again. And if it does it the wrong kind, it can turn on and off certain proteins. And when you have cancer, it means it starts replicating, and it replicates and replicates and replicates, and it won't stop replicating. It's going beyond, say you have damage to your breast tissue, right? And it starts replicating more breast than it should. So start getting a tumor. And oftentimes when a cancer can be found, it might not necessarily be the lump you find in your breast. It might be like, oh, my elbow hurts. And your doctor's like, oh, look at that little cyst right there. And they do a biopsy of that cyst. They go, oh, that's weird. Your elbow's trying to grow a breast. Seems like you've got cancer. It's metastasized. And so, like, the only way to prevent cancer is to prevent the damage that happens to your DNA. Instead, we have certain antibodies in our body that are designed to look for damaged DNA and go, you don't count. You get out of here, buddy. And so we can train for certain cancers our antibodies to look for those things and attack them. That's where the lung cancer vaccine that Cuba invented. So if you didn't know, Cuba has a lung cancer vaccine. You can take their vaccine and you won't get lung cancer. Fantastic, right? especially for a country that like makes cigars that create lung cancer. So they've not ever bothered sending it to the U.S. though. They're like, yeah, screw you, America. We have embargoes on us. So, but you can make vaccines that work that are geared towards cancers. Now, we do have multiple companies with very promising treatments that work as sort of like gene therapy / immune response to take care of cancers. They oftentimes get hammered really, really hard by hedge funds and private equity and market makers. So you have a company that has really, really promising cancer treatment, and they get blown out of existence by these private equity people. So I don't know, maybe the cure to cancer is to guillotine everybody in private equity. That might cure cancer. So think about that. Eat the rich. Tippingham, Houston. I heard NVIDIA stock is as much corruption behind it as Enron. I don't necessarily believe it, but wanted to know your thoughts. Seems very heavy and pumped 30 times earnings. I think it's going to come back down to earth for sure. I would love to have a big chunk of change I can put on put leaps, because I do think it will come back to earth someday. The news keeps being good because this government subsidization of chip processing, and they will have more output in the United States. They will have more government contracts. It will be good. It's just not so. It's like Tesla being $2,000 a share. Not meant to last. It's beyond the scope of where they should be, and it's not quite a squeeze so much as just FOMO going bonkers on the stock. So they're FOMOing like crazy at the moment. Ooh, we got the shills in here. Scruff McGruff 28's in here. Welcome. Donate some money and I'll answer your shitty little questions. Monkey Butt's still waiting for a blanket. Monkey Butt is a floor dog now because Chalupa took over. Right, you sad, pathetic loser. Look at you. Standing over there, not on your bed, not under your blanket. What a pathetic loser that dog is. You're such a loser. Look at you. You're such a loser. You're such a loser. Oh, but you're a winner now. Might as well give her some treats. Okay. The little crumblies in there at the moment. So, boom. Get your ass up here. Get that thing. Oh, well, that was quick. Want to do a tall one? Can you get it? Can you get it? Oh, there it is. Okay, got two little guys here. Jaws cam. No. One more Jaws cam. There we go. All right, happy dog. Oh, you just drooled on my foot. That was disgusting. You're gross. Okay. Oh, you're so happy now, aren't you? Look at that. Tails wagging. Happy dog. Scott Paulin, the rare earth element issue is not mining, it's bottlenecks of processing smelting. That's true. All the processing and smelting is happening in China, and that's where mining gets expensive, is processing and smelting. So like, you know, we've got the Highcroft mine in Nevada. Everyone's like, oh, Adam Aaron bought into Highcroft, and I'm like, cool, there's a lot of gold there. There's probably $10-15 billion worth of gold in that mine. The problem is you can't get it out until you build a big mineralogical site that can process sulfide ore. If you can't process sulfide ores, that you can never get that gold out. So until you spend $1 billion building a processing plant that can handle those sulfide ores, that gold mine is worthless. And no one is willing to give them $1 billion to do that. So you're asking a lot to get that billion. So the same thing with rare earths. You want to get rare earths, you have to do a lot of processing to get that out of materials, because rare earths like to oxidize. Where you can find rare earths probably in the stream next to your house, right? But being able to get those highly oxidated material out of the gravels that are in that stream is very expensive and very hard to do, which is why they're rare. It's not that they're rare, it's just that they're rare to get isolated by themselves. So we need a program that's probably government subsidy or public financing or something for national security reasons to build these processing facilities for the mines that we know have valuable ore in them. Because the private equity folks, the investment banks, they're not putting up the cash the way they can, because at the moment we still buy rare earths cheaper from China than we can produce here. But if we can't get them from China at all, and we are building a gigantic network of microchip manufacturers who need that material, well, duh. Like, there's no point in subsidizing the chip processing plant if you can't get the raw materials. It's like when Carter got those windmills approved to be built in Hawaii, and then Congress never funded the money to connect the windmills to the power grid. What's the point of having those wonderful windmills that are generating boatloads of energy if they can't be sent to people's homes? It's just silly. Like, you need to look at the whole picture. You need to do this holistically and get everybody every little step of the way. Vertically integrate this system, man. BOFH has come in and donated. Thank you so much. All right. Walt, the man in the middle. Houston, what's the best way to reach you? Excellent news to tell you. Well, I'll take all the excellent news in the world. But yeah, send me a DM on Reddit. You Houston, man. Oh, BW Brand mentioned it there. Yeah, to you Houston, man. That's the best way to DM me right now, because I can't get DMs from Twitter anymore. And man, I really want Blue Sky to open up DMs. Just, it'd be so easy to have just like one app I can use again, like Twitter. Aaron Southampton, Houston, can you explain what Univest in New York does? They're going to invest in Finger soon. We are waiting for the S3 to come out. We're 8 trading days left to see if SEC comments or just approves it. I don't know anything about Univest. Aaron, I'll have to look into those, and maybe we'll do that for Wednesday's show. I'm doing an interview with somebody tomorrow. I think it's going to be a recorded interview and not a live one. It's a real estate guy here in Seattle, friend of a friend. I'm still pondering exactly what we're going to talk about, but I also have the ferry advisory committee meeting I got to go to. I'm on the ferry advisory committee. I give the ferry terminals advice, and then they never take it. So I'll have that in the evening. So I might do a nighttime show and then post the recorded video when that all gets done later. So yeah, so yeah, things are happening. Copy and paste. Will Stewart just spoke about MMTLP in busy space. I've heard rumors. People are saying they're getting offers from Fidelity for their shares. Other people are saying that's bullshit. Congress really does seem to be taking interest. They've been doing talks about MMTLP. Like, nothing about MMTLP passes the sniff test. It just doesn't. So there's something squirrely in there, and we're going to get answers on it eventually. It might be our grandkids who get the answers, but they'll be somewhere in there. We'll get the answers. Chris Taylor, OMG, PP pulled in fat cash yesterday. Yeah. I mean, yesterday's show alone, he pulled in like 2.5 times what I make in a year off of YouTube. So that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I wish I had. Why can't you guys be richer? If I was making that kind of money off YouTube, we'd be doing nothing but charity shows anyway. So, Houston, I found a way to no stress of paying off credit card bills. I pay $1 a day, and then I pay the minimum at the end of the month. Yeah, because the interest hasn't gone up yet. That seems like it's good planning. Just shave off $30 off the principal every single month. Not so bad. The whole credit reporting thing is so silly. So prior to 1989, there was no credit reporting. It did not exist. There's no credit score. There were none of these things. And like somebody who makes a boatload of money and doesn't need debt, right? They don't have a mortgage on their house. They own their house outright. They own their car outright. They don't pay for vacations on cards. They just pay for everything with cash. They have a terrible credit report. They're considered untrustworthy. They'll have a credit score of like 530 because there's no credit history there. And if you got somebody who like has debt on their credit card and then pays it off, that's a negative. That's bad. They pay off their debt. They shouldn't do that. Terrible. We're going to penalize them. So the best way to have credit is to have multiple cards. You can have a mortgage or whatever, but you have multiple credit cards and you maintain the tiniest balance on those cards. So if you have the opportunity to pay off your credit card, don't leave $5 in there. Your credit report will skyrocket. When my two best friends were looking for a house, they started doing that. They took out like 5 credit cards. They kept $5 a month on those credit cards and just paid the minimum balance or whatever. And if it was going to pay off, they would make a purchase of something. So there was $5 on it. And their credit reports went from like 650 to 800 and something like that by doing it. It's the silliest, stupidest system we have. Oh, you paid off your student loans? Well, now you're going to have a negative credit report. What? How dare you be responsible? We're going to punish you for it. Chris Taylor excluded me from the raffle. Did I put that down already? Chris Taylor. You're Chris Taylor. Put a star next to Chris Taylor. So yours can be donated to somebody. Word. Person with no name, Houston. I decided to finally take the name you gave me and entered a name. Okay, so blank is now person with no name. There we go. Levy, what BBYQ dockets have dropped recently? Nothing interesting. We have no interesting dockets have dropped recently. This weekend was like 35 dockets, and they were all about performance of stores that still exist. We've got documents about abandoned property and stores they sold, dockets from shipping companies. That's basically it. We have nothing interesting at all in the BBYQ dockets that are interesting. Lee Meadows, all good, buddy. Pick up my mobility scooter on Friday. I gave the guy my address so I can pay the rest in installments. Oh, fantastic. That's good news, Lee. I'm awesome. Yay. You can finally leave your house and not strand your mother at the same time. So that's good. I hope you get that done, get your surgery, and you can become like a moving member of society again. Person who leaks movie stuff. Hello, I'm a new subscriber. I take it you're going to leak movie stuff to us. Is that going to happen? Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Moopolin, do you think we will actually get some solid news the 30th with BYQ or just another hype date? Something's going to happen by the 30th because that's when the plan does its thing. So something has to happen. If they're gonna cancel, are they replacing? Is it just gonna sit there as canceled shares of people's accounts? I have no idea. And languish forever, a la Blockbuster. You got me, man. You got me. Taryn, Houston, what's happening with the drought affecting the Panama Canal? If it's connecting two oceans, shouldn't a drought have minimal impact on the water levels? Okay, let's bring up some Google Earth here. Google Earth, you got to go over to this side. We will look at the Panama Canal. Boom. Boom. Okay, so we're still off the island off of Ireland. So let's leave that. Or Scotland, sorry. We're going to fly across the Atlantic. North south. And we're going to head far south. We're going to head down the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal, people don't really realize the Panama Canal is a north-south thing. Now, what there are is you have sea level on one side, sea level on the other side, and then you have a mountain range. And this mountain range isn't very big. It's, up a couple hundred feet. So you have a system of locks. So when you enter the canal, right, you have this waterway, which is the mouth of a river, basically, and it leads to two locks. There's one lock here and one lock here. And so the boats enter the lock on this side, they flow in, the lock's closed, they flood it with water and raise the water level, and then they release you higher up at 56 feet above sea level. So the waterways here are at sea level, and then you end up 56 feet above sea level here. And they dug the canals so you can remain, at that X number of feet above sea level for this river, this man-made river they made. And it goes up because the water is flowing downhill. So you're up 100 feet above sea level out here. There are a system of locks elsewhere, I believe. So then you end up in a giant lake, which is also about 100 feet above sea level. And then you pop out here in Cologne and you enter these other locks. And when you enter the locks here, they suck the water out, drop it back down to sea level, and you spit out the other side. So what's happening now is that the bottom of these lakes and these canals are still above sea level, so the ocean water can't flood into them, and you don't have a navigable path to get through here. And so, and these ships are huge, right? They're giant oil tankers and cargo ships. Their draft could be 3 meters, right? Like 10, 15, maybe more, maybe 10, like huge 30-foot drafts on some of these things. And if they can't navigate the channels and there's not enough water, then they can't get through. And like the holding areas where some of these boats have to sit and wait for their chance to get into the canals also disappear. So they can get stuck and grounded on the shores here. So that's the big problem with the canal system and the drought, is trying to get from here to there when there's not enough fresh water to fill in these lakes, the canal itself. So that's what you're dealing with. Yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. A man, a plan, a canal, Panama. That is a palindrome. And I forgot to do the reminder for folks watching at home. If you're watching at home, there's still the donation button. If you're watching the recorded show later, somewhere on the side or down below, there'll be a donation button for donating to the International Relief Committee. And remember, all these are tax deductible. You get a receipt from YouTube showing that you donated to this charity, and you can write it off on your taxes. So by all means, donate all you like. We've met our goal today, but we will gladly welcome more. And plus, you enter in for codes for invites for Blue Sky. And you can join us over on Blue Sky with all the shitty shit posters. Ooh, crack me up. And like more of the news people are trying to pop over there. So I was trying to get reporters breaking news and stuff. Some of the open source intelligence folks that I was following on Twitter for news on like Ukraine war, they're starting to appear on Blue Sky as well as more codes go out. So it's becoming more of a news site, not just a shit poster site. And I'm appreciating that. Just give us DMs. Lost Waves, you see any of the new attack videos in daylight in Chicago. Stuff is getting real quick in Chicago, worse than ever, and the cashless bail is letting people get away with murder. I have not heard crime actually going up. I would not doubt if people are just taking video and then pretending like there's like an unbridled crime spree when crime has not changed. Crime rates in Chicago recent. Okay, is there anything? Okay, this is Area 1 district. Okay, that's all districts. I want citywide. There we go. Oh, it's a big giant PDF. Adobe, why do I have to constantly prove that I exist to you? And I can never remember what I'm supposed to do. Which password I use for the stupid fucking... Continue with Google. Just do that. Does that work? That one. Yeah. Just using a PDF. What? Okay. Murder's down 50%. Okay. Robbery is up. Motor vehicle theft is down 4%. Crime complaints, murder complaints are down 39%. Burglary is down 6%. Year-over-year change. Burglary is down 23% from 4 years ago. So it would seem that there's not a giant crime spree going on. There's a couple areas where it's up. Like robbery's up 30%, but battery and burglary is down. So violent crime is down. Passive things like robbery is up. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It just seems to be like sensationalization. Like people do it in Seattle all the time. Yeah, there's a lot of homeless in Seattle. You will probably see somebody, if you go look for it, somebody like shooting up or whatever. But the streets are safe. Like you can walk past homeless people and survive. It's not that hard. Situational awareness is always good, but like you're not going to get mugged in the street. They're too high to do that. Like they're too busy like robbing each other at this point. Yas, Houston, with the bond market, excuse me, with the bond market dropping in recent times, is this a leading indication that the stock market will crash in the next few days, weeks? Thank you. I mean, bond market's been shit for the last year and a half. This last year has been the worst year for bonds since like 1790 or something. This is basically before we created a Department of the Treasury in the United States. This has been the worst year for bonds since then. And there really wasn't much bonds prior to that were traded openly in the markets as they are now. So this is truly probably the worst bond market ever, simply because of the amount of money involved and the amount of people who have access to it and yada, yada, yada. Now, a horrible bond market will make for a horrible stock market in the end. Because you have to remember, especially around the end of the Obama administration, and then especially when Trump did his tax cuts, and it was supposed to be trickled down, like, oh, we're going to do tax cuts for rich people, and then the piss will rain down on you, and you'll have money. The money did not rain down. The money went specifically towards executive pay and corporate stock buybacks. So people were buying back their stock to artificially raise the price of their stock so they can maintain the earnings per share that they had previously when the company was doing worse. And what you have is you have companies that should have been using money for research and development and improving stores and employee morale and, product and design. And they're taking that money, they're doing stock buybacks with instead. And the stats that were coming out were like 109% of corporate profits in the United States were going towards stock buybacks. Total. Like all the profit in the US of all the companies, 109% of it was going towards stock buybacks. Now, some companies didn't do stock buybacks. Other companies did tens of billions or hundreds of billions of stock buybacks. And so you got to figure that if it's 109% of profits, they're borrowing to do those stock buybacks. A lot of borrowing happened to do those stock buybacks. And so you have fixed rate bonds out there. They're now worthless because who wants a fixed rate bond at 2% from 5 years ago? I don't want that, right? And then you have bonds, the recent bonds that are being issued where the interest rates are insane. And like we're talking about at the beginning of the show, there's private equity folks who are taking out 19% loans to make their plays. Who is beating the market at 19% consistently? No one, right? Like a good yield from index fund, 5 to 8%. Yeah, there's individual like dividend stocks that can get you more than that. But on the breadth of it, you shoot for 5 to 8% returns if you're a rich person. So if you're borrowing at 19% and your returns can't beat like the regular index funds, you're losing around 10% a year on your investment. That's not winning. So if we've got fixed rate bonds that are worthless, or fixed rate bonds that are too expensive, or we have bonds that were taken out years ago that are adjustable, right? And they're now readjusting to these higher and higher rates, 8% or more. Then a lot of companies who were doing a lot of bookkeeping 5 years ago, that bookkeeping is not matching up anymore. And we're going to start to see defaults at higher rates than expected, and which already are. The defaults this summer on bonds were the highest they'd been since 2009, which is, well, the meat of the economic recession. So this will start to hit stocks. This will start to hit liquidity for folks being able to make plays. It'll hit margin. So the liquidity will be gone. They won't be able to borrow at the same rate to make plays like they were. It's just gonna keep going. And yeah, it'll catch up eventually. It'll result in less construction happening. It'll result in layoffs. It'll result in all sorts of things that are going to suck. Javi A, happy unbirthday. Is this the soft landing, or do you think there will be more pumping? I wish I could had money printer to keep my assets from crashing. GME is rigged, but I'm trying to make a profit. Guess right, game is rigged. I can't read. Game is rigged, trying to make a profit. All signs point to bad things happening in the economy. And when it's ultimately going to crash, I don't know. This week's been pretty terrible. Like 90-something% of the stocks the last couple of days are down. We're hearing more mumblings about, like, what you look for the mainstream news organizations talking about it. And if we go into a government shutdown, stocks are going to take a hit for sure. The last time we shut down was it 2018? Kat, do you remember, Kitty? Were you even alive? We took a huge hit in the markets when that shutdown happened. I think it was December 2018. Maybe it was December 2017. It was right around the Trump tax cuts. That was 2017, right? But the market lost thousands and thousands. And it lasted for about a month. Right around Christmas. Just a great time to shut down the government is right around Christmas. Right when companies are supposed to be like making their profits for the year. Just shut the government down, not sending out paychecks, ruin Christmas for a bunch of kids. Just can't beat it. Boss fight monkey butt, such a sweetheart. She is. You are a sweetheart wherever you are. She left. I was making too much fun of her for not having the bed. Fabrizio is plopping. Beachy Sunday. Sorry, Houston, I'm broke. Couldn't get a job architecture degree. So right now I'm watching you from my vegetable stand at the farmer's market. During a recession, the career that gets hit the most are architects. Architects had 30-something% unemployment in 2009 because people aren't building. Building is not happening. If building's not happening, architects don't have a job. They are probably one of the leading indicators for recession job-wise, are architects. So look at, let's see if we can find architect unemployment numbers. Architect. We get architect unemployment rate by month. Architecture unemployment rate 21 average about 2.9%, with the highest rates in January at 3.5. Lowest, so 2021 architects are doing great. Engineering architecture is 2022 numbers. I don't want 2022. I want like up to date. That's July this year. Okay. 152,000 architects, 23% of them women, 76% are men, average age is 45. Most common ethnicity, blah, 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 white people. Okay, give me gender. Don't care about gender. Men architecture makes $6,000 more a year than women, though. That's a significant pay gap. I don't care about that. I want unemployment. Show me. Why are you doing show me ethnicity? I don't care about age, ethnicity, sex in this one. I just want unemployment. Architecture, unemployment. Come on. Okay. That's projected. That doesn't help me at all. Those are projected numbers. Those are not the real numbers. I wonder, all right, if someone can find this data, send it to me. I will continue searching. But yeah, unemployment for architects was huge during the Great Recession. Absolutely bonkers. So just keep that in mind. If you start to see your architects like looking for jobs at the local grocery store or restaurant or something, that's when the shit hits the fan. Don Caesar Shadem. I am creating a rumor. In the future, when Tesla bots are domesticated, in wide use and wide supply, Elon will press a button, the bots will turn into liberal-leaning folks like us. Yeah, I doubt that. It's Liddy with like some, so blue sky code. So I'll put it's Liddy in here. It's Liddy. It's C, not an S. It's Liddy. Okay. Oh, SJ would like to donate theirs to It's Liddy. So SJ donations. Okay. It's Liddy will be donated. SJ's donations will go to It's Liddy. Okay. Jethro, have you mentioned how many Canadian leaders are now giving standing ovations to legitimate Nazis? As a Canadian, it's truly embarrassing. I have not been reading about that, so I am unaware of it. Is this... I'll have to look that up. I don't know enough. I'm an ignorant American. Tremendous. TSMC is the greatest chip maker in the world, but seem to be in trouble because China and Taiwan is in constant fear. What do you see happening in the next few years? Chip making between China and Taiwan is a very weird balance. So China considers Taiwan part of China. Taiwan considers itself a separate country, independent sovereign nation. All the nations in the world are scared of China. So they'll have diplomatic relations with Taiwan, but they won't go so far as to say, like, Taiwan is its own country, leave them the fuck alone. U.S. government is pretty close to doing that. But a lot of the chip manufacturers in China are factories built by Taiwanese experts and employed by Taiwanese companies. So if you think about Foxconn, like Foxconn who makes everyone's cell phones and stuff, right? All of these cell phone factories, whether it's Apple phones, Samsung phones, HTC, they're made in these giant Foxconn factories. And these factories require hundreds of thousands of employees. I think the biggest one is like 650,000 employees in one factory. That's the entire population of Seattle living and working in one factory. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And that factory is owned by the Taiwanese, right? So the Taiwanese need the huge numbers of the population China has to be able to do this process of making all these phones and all the chips and everything. But they also need to have their autonomy from the Chinese government at the same time. So if China were to invade Taiwan stupidly, just to be the dumbest thing China could possibly do, Taiwan immediately destroys their factories. Poof! No more Foxconn, no more chip manufacturers from any Taiwanese companies. They'll probably press some sort of button and everything just goes wonk. And so where we wouldn't be able to get cell phones for years, you'd have to like baby your cell phone for years on end because the manufacturing process and the supply chain would not exist for years until that war is over. Which may mean, I don't know, maybe Kenya or something will rise up as a major producer of phones. I don't know. Someone will rise from the ashes and because people will need new phones, right? They will need new phones and have to get them from somewhere. And if the only factories in the world to make it are gone, well, then somebody else is like, well, I can make phones. And they're going to start taking over. And they're going to find a population source where they can put 600,000 people into a single factory and have them make all the phones. It's, yeah, where we are. Oh, crap. I forgot to include, I got money over Mayo. Money over Mayo. Darren Saunders. And Daniel Batchelor. There we go. Okay. So we're well over $1,000 now. I don't know what we're at. I have to go. I click there. Click on that. I have to watch myself to see exactly because all it says is 1K up above, but I actually don't know how much my channel. Going live. We're live now.
If you have a utility meter like this.
Don't make any sound. Okay. We are at $1,085. So we're almost across the $1,100 mark. Fantastic. Good job, people. You guys are so awesome. Just spectacular. Oh, kick ass. Tremendous. Will the government actually shut down now that nothing really matters and economics seem decent enough? Seems like they just find times to stop and do it. I personally think that the government, there should be a law that says if you can't reach an agreement on the budget, the current terms of the former budget are still in play. So you still just fund like you would with an employment contract, right? Or you go to end up on a month-to-month lease after your lease is up when you rent a house. Like the terms of the old contract are still in play until you negotiate a new one. That's the way the budget should be as well. So we don't have these stupid shutdowns. You might not have the pay raises or whatever people may need, but at least like they're earning money under their old contract. The parks are still getting cleaned and swept and trash taken out, and like that stuff still happens. It's a very stupid system to have like, well, we can't agree, so we're just gonna shut everything down. Bunch of fucking babies. Just do your damn job. Fund the government. And this whole like demanding cuts constantly to the federal budget is, I understand where it comes from, right? Like you don't want deficits. I get it. having a $900 billion defense budget is kind of stupid. And there's probably tons of waste in there. But when they do cuts, it isn't towards the defense budget, which is probably incredibly wasteful. It's to programs that help, right? We've talked about this several times. Like, the Army Corps of Engineers, like, hey, the levees in New Orleans are crumbling. We need to rebuild them. We need $30 million to do that. The Bush administration is like, whoa, buddy, we just did a $300 billion tax cut, so no money for you. Matter of fact, we're going to cut your budget in half. Army Corps of Engineers is like, but if the city floods, it's going to cost us more than $300 billion. La, 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 la. Hurricane Katrina comes in, levees fail, causes $500 billion in damage. So we could save $500 billion if we just spent $30 million on proper maintenance. But we went, no, we got to pay for tax cuts, cut that. Flash forward 15 years, right? 2018, Trump tax cuts get approved. They blow a $1 trillion hole in the deficit, right? So they got to cut stuff somewhere. What do they cut? USAID program, and the pandemic response team. When do they cut that? October 2019, just in time for a global pandemic. Woo! Right? So because we didn't have the teams in place, in the USAID, they had a team whose job, they lived all over the world. They had scientists that lived in almost every country on Earth. And when chatter came about regarding outbreaks of a disease, confirmed reports of bird flu, whatever, these folks, on behalf of the U.S. government, would quickly respond. They would, murder all the chickens that were infected, pay the farmer so you can get new birds. Like, we would make sure that the outbreak did not spread. We cut that program at the end of October 2019. Our people who lived in China, who worked with the Chinese government, helping stop potential outbreaks in China, left the country by November 1st, 2019. And that's the month that COVID-19 first made an appearance in Wuhan. Good job, folks. So to save ourselves like $50 million on these rapid response teams to stop diseases from spreading, and then $100 million by cutting the team who, if the disease spreads, gives us a reaction plan and tells us exactly what to do according to the booklets we spent millions of dollars designing for a standard operating procedure, we just got rid of them. So that when we fucked up, when we missed the outbreak, it became a pandemic. And when it became a pandemic, our response was stupid as shit. And so rather than spending that $150 million preventing a global pandemic from happening, we instead spent like $20 trillion dealing with the outcome of it. 20 trillion. That's about how much the globe lost in GDP from the pandemic. Millions of lives, over 20 million lives. 1 in 5 infected have permanent effects from that. Maintenance, man. Maintenance. So, like, yeah, figure out why a toilet seat costs $600 from the Pentagon. Cool. Do that. But there are certain aspects that you cannot cut because the resulting calamity is so huge and unfathomable that it's no savings in the end. Americans absolutely love. We love not like changing our oil and instead paying for a new engine. Oh, oil change is like $50. We'll see how much longer I can go. Engine explodes, seizes, whatever. Oh, it'll be $10,000. That's what Americans love to do. We have no problem paying that $10,000. We have a problem paying that $50 for an oil change. Scruff McGruffington 28. Scruff McGruffington 28. $1. Woo! All right. One entry for a blue sky code. Anyway, moving on. Viranoka, I won last month. Can you remove my name from the drawing? Oh, I already put that one on. I already got that one. I'll give your donation to somebody else who wants blue sky codes. Felix Oyenloyi, we will have bigger donations after No Labs gets an FDA approval. Yes. Lee Meadows, as Pulte was saying, everyone super chat PP 500 would get to meet him. That's just crazy. That's just nuts. But I guess, you know, they'll have a party in November, I guess, and everyone will hang out. Cool. Jay, Houston, your take on Ronald Reagan is kind of cringe. Blaming him for stuff going on now doesn't seem intellectually honest. But Reagan is probably one of the worst presidents in history. Reagan's entire campaign was, the government doesn't work, so elect me and I'll prove it. That's not what you want in a leader. You don't want somebody who's like, yeah, government sucks, so if you elect me, I'm going to make sure it sucks even more. Like Grover Norquist, his chief advisor, his famous quote is, I want to make government small enough that I can drown it in a bathtub. We need government. We need the purchasing power of the collective to be able to get things done. We need infrastructure, right? We need security. We need regulations. We need response to crimes, emergencies, etc. We need this stuff. We cannot do it on our own, right? You know, if an earthquake happens here in Seattle, we've got 15,000 dead, $100 billion in damage. The individual level cannot respond to that. You cannot pull yourself up by your bootstraps and everything's gonna be okay. You need the collective. You need the support of everyone else in the nation to go, oh shit, something really bad happens. We're going to send rescuers. We're going to send cash and capital. We're going to send bulldozers and cranes and rebuild. And we're going to have our FEMA response and insurance and national insurance. And we're going to budget recovery efforts to the federal. Like, we need to behave as a society. We rely on one another. And Ronald Reagan's entire thing was, hey, Nancy, ask your astrologer what we should do. That was how he did things. Hey, we have a problem with right-wing dictators in South America, and they're battling a bunch of communist rebels. So we're going to buy the drugs from the communist rebels, use that to buy weapons use the cash from that to buy weapons, to fund, to send to the right-wing dictators. And then we'll do the same thing and, you know, pay off the Ayatollah. And like, they just did shitty stuff. They took good programs, you know, green energy solution programs that we desperately need now, that we planted the seeds in the late 70s for. They cut them all. They you know, destroyed funding for public education in a way that never been done before. They cut taxes on the rich dramatically and started blowing a giant hole, budget hole in our government that before we'd never seen levels like that before. Not even during World War II did we have deficits like that. It's Ronald Reagan sucked. He absolutely sucked. And the mentality of the Reaganites carried all the way through with trickle-down economics and all that garbage. It's just built a shittier society. Like, the boomers who begat Reagan are the first generation in American history to leave their children worse off than they were. It's simply true. I mean, all you have to do is look at the wealth levels at ages. So you can look at the percentage of wealth held by the average 40-year-old in the boomer generation, and it's insane. And you look at Gen X, the ones below them, and they're significantly lower. Look at the millennials below them, they're even lower than Gen X. You look at Gen Z people coming up, they're going to have nothing. They're going to have no homes. They're going to have no money. And all of that began in the Reagan administration. Like, their policies from the get-go are the reason why we have homelessness in the country. You want to complain about homelessness? Oh, homelessness. Oh, I got to do something about homelessness. We can do things about homelessness. We just reverse things 43 years, and we go back to 1980 and the policies that Carter had done for community mental health programs. Boom, homelessness gone. That's it. So simple. Wow, look at that. We took care of our neighbors and it was so much cheaper than imprisoning them and spending a bunch of money on shelters that don't solve the actual fundamental problem of mental health and substance abuse. right? Like homeless, largely psychosis, trauma, drug and alcohol abuse. Those three things are all medical conditions. You solve those three things, you essentially eliminate homelessness in the United States. Well, that and give people homes. Like just give them a place to stay. There's your home. Live there. Get off the street. Don't have to deal with your staph infections. You got hot water and a shower, right? So, Reagan sucks. Brooks Robinson just died. Oh man, one of the best third basemen of all time. Mumu, I think, is based in China. I wouldn't put it past him. Through Wasteland, can you do a line-by-line breakdown of how your ape AMC reversed through your Schwab statement? Mine seems janky with debit and credit line items. I dread calling into their customer service. I didn't have mine in Schwab, so I can't. And I got rid of mine. I got rid of all my AMC months ago when this looked like it was going to be a fucking dumper. I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm glad I did. Okay. Oh, we got more donations here. Striking Viking. Jose Rosario. And WATDC. Watt DC. Watt DC. Thank you, my buddy. That puts us well over 1,100. Woo! Nice. We've funded our charity by over 110%. Good job, right, little fatty? Yeah? How about celebrate jiggle? Oh, jiggle, 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 jiggle. You're like a water balloon cat. Okay, oh, and then there goes the reset. Where was I lost? That's the government shutdown question. Okay, we're past that one. That's me, the Covenant House. Is that charity? I'll have to look into that. Okay, that's Moo things. Ludicrous Speed, the first person to say BBBY MOAS in the chat can have credit for my donation in the raffle. Okay, so did anyone say it? So Ludicrous Speed is going to donate his raffle entries to you if you say BBY MOAS, and I'm not seeing it. Mark Sloan would like to be added to the list, though, so we got Mark Sloan to that list. Mark Sloan. We'll donate today. We totally respect that. Not everybody can donate all the time. Chris Taylor, AP reporting, judge rules Donald Trump defrauded banks, insurers while building a real estate empire. I saw that just before it went on. Apparently, they're going to be appointing a receiver to handle either the Trump company or aspects of the Trump company. Interesting. Yeah. Donald Trump charged with fraud and his companies are being closed in New York. Ouch. Yeah. So it sounds like there's going to be a receiver who's going to be running Donald Trump's company from this point forward. Interesting. Yogi, did you watch Disorderlies with the Fat Boys? Great movie. I have seen that movie, but it's been so long ago. They used to be, the Fat Boys were featured several times as informants for Crockett in Miami Vice. I think they're even in the first episode of Miami Vice as informants. I love those guys. They're hilarious. Fat Boys are back. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Maui Sam, aloha, wait, aloha chat. Maui Sam's here. Maui Sam, what's your thoughts about Pulte and PP? I mean, if Pulte knows anything, he's not telling us. He did say he was told specifically not to talk about certain things. Yeah. Javier Martinez, shirt idea. I lost my dragon shirts for you in Japanese. I like that. You're the one who took away my dragon shirts, forever changed the course of my life. Like a martini glass. Robert Hurt, if you want a long shot gamble, Padres and San Francisco Giants are 100,000 to 1 the World Series. Seattle is 3,500 to 1. Well, I mean, Seattle lost again last night, so I think it's getting even lower. Oh my God, they lost 4 games in a row. Oh, they lost 4 to Texas, 1 to Houston so far. They need to win their last, 6 games? 5 games? Is that how many they have left? Shit. They want a chance of being, like, the wild card playoff team. Like, Kevin Rayonin's here. Kevin. Rayonin. Boom. All right, keeping them donations coming for the International Rescue Committee. Low Y86 and Serpenza do great shows on the truth about China and the CCP. Check out the China Show at ADV China. All right. I think our boy Kirby, George Kirby's pitching tonight. Well, George Kirby pitched pretty well his last game. The Mariners just couldn't do anything about it. He's got a chip on his shoulder now because he said that whole thing like, why'd you put me out there for the 7th inning when he ended up blowing a game a couple weeks ago. And now he's got to like become a mental machine. So hopefully the Mariners turn things around. Brandon Queen of Swords just tried to buy BBYQ on Mumu. It was also a no-go. All right. So maybe they're shutting down as well. Robert, did you cover the rumors from Fidelity offering $100 a share? I heard the rumors. I think was it Busy Brands or someone that talked about it? Who was it talked about it? Someone over on Twitter did. And I've seen no confirmations of anyone. Like, if I get an order like that, I am taking a screenshot and I'm posting it. If I get a phone call like that, I'm recording it and I'm posting it. Judge Tremendous, only 6.5, incredibly shallow. Are you describing an earthquake or Ken Griffin's dating profile? Through a wasteland, everyone should watch the last scene in the movie Impossible to get an idea of what it's like to be caught in a flood. It hadn't occurred to me what you might experience when swept up in one. Yeah, man, there's some gnarly ones. You guys have heard of mega tsunamis? There was a great BBC Discovery documentary from like 15, 20 years ago about the mega tsunamis in the Tuya Bay and how we can have like meteor strikes in the ocean that can cause mega tsunamis and stuff. But usually they have these incredible landslides that happen, displace a huge amount of water and create a wall of water, 1,000 feet high. So Lituya Bay is the most famous one because people survived one in the 1950s. They were in a boat and they got swept up and like landed on a mountain across the bay. But there was also a mega tsunami that happened in a lake, in a man-made lake above a dam in Italy. What was the name of it? Mega tsunami Italy dam. Vajont Dam. Vajont dam disused in northern Italy is one of the tallest dams in the world, and it had a giant disaster where a mega tsunami happened in the lake behind it. Oh no! Don't wait! How do I turn off the sound? Go away! Go! Skip ads. Turn off the sound. So, this big lake behind the. Oh, you guys can't see anything because the Google Earth's in the way. Landslide happened in the lake. The lake generated a mega tsunami. The mega tsunami overspilled the banks, landed in the valley below, and just wiped everyone out. Absolutely wiped everyone out. Insane. So, Viant. Italy. There we go. Okay. While I watch this, Google Earth is going to take me over to the dam in Italy. So it's down near the heel. Look at that valley. Holy smokes. There's no video footage of the actual thing, but what we can do, we can go here. So the dam was, where's the dam? Which side is the dam on? It's on this side? Maggio. That's the drainage into the lake. And then the dam itself is here. Where are you, damn fool? That's not the dam. Nor is that the dam. What the what? Doesn't look like the right mountain range. I don't think I'm even in the right spot. We want the... Oh, he's taking me to province. Foyant. Damn. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're wrong part. Okay. We're way wrong. We're up in the Alps. That's worth. Okay. There we go. There's the dam. So the dam has been drained. There's no lake behind it anymore. So there used to be a giant lake right here. And there was a catastrophic landslide over at one end of the lake. Shkabloosh. Landed in this thing. Sent a giant 1,000-foot tsunami across the lake, which then overspilled the edge of the dam, flowed down this canyon at like a kajillion miles an hour, hit this town down here, and basically just killed everyone. That's what happened. So, terrifying. We're talking water traveling 60 to 100 miles an hour that is several hundred feet tall, shooting out of a canyon with just water pressure that is insane. You just can't handle it. And that's what the folks in Libya were experiencing. Collapse of a dam like that, rushing water out, just terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Oh crap, I'm at 4:30. My voice is really failing me. Excuse me. Yeah, the Tuya Bay in Alaska, that was the one that happened in the 50s. And yeah, it's like 1,000 feet up. The trees just got eaten away and gone. And for a while, scientists were like, well, that's weird. Why are all those trees below 1,000 feet all new and the ones above 1,000 feet are all old growth? How strange. And then like a decade later, like, oh, that's why. Huge landslide from Lituya Bay. Okay. All right, kitty cat, I gotta get going. I want to thank everybody so much for donating. And again, you still have the chance to donate. The show tomorrow, if I can manage to get an evening show together tomorrow. If not, it might be a Thursday show. We will do the raffle. I'll figure out the folks who want to donate their tickets for the raffle and the folks who want it, and I can supplant their names in there, etc. So we'll get it all done. We'll get you guys all on Blue Sky eventually. Some just may have to wait a little while longer to get on there. Okay, so yeah, I gotta get going. Bye-bye and have a great day. Thank you so much. You guys have made like the 28th successful Cherry Tuesday in a row, and you're the best. You're the best there is. This is true. So pat yourselves on the back.